Hey, welcome back to my channel, Amani's Vibe. And I am, of course, Amani. And last I checked, I had 620 subscribers. That is so dope. Thank you so much. And some of you probably peeped in because I'm using a new device and I did not know how to turn on the live or turn off the live. It's completely different. And so I'm even using it for this recording. I also have a microphone too, but what's so funny, I got the mic. I kind of was investing in doing things. I feel like during COVID, I started getting some things. So I bought a microphone, like, a USB mic. And I've actually seen some other reviewers, they use it. So, but I still don't quite know how to work everything. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll record my think piece using the mic. And I couldn't get it off reverb. So it was like, hello, no. Anyway, so we just going to do it this way for now. Hands free, no microphone. But yeah, so my name is Amani. This is Amani's Vibe. Please like and subscribe because I'm like, wait a minute, do I make too many videos? Because I'm seeing people that like new people, but I guess it's because they go online, and I guess it's more of like a, I don't know, say like a gossip type channel or updates on everything all the time. And I tend to do that more with my posts, my little videos. I like to call them my little films that I make with my Samsung. Oh, to be sponsored by Samsung. Everything I use is Samsung. Like, honestly, I would be so happy. But I'm happy now. But yeah, so if you're new to my channel, just know that I am definitely a positive vibes only type of person. And some people say that, and then that just really is not what they do. I actually been following some people that I'm probably just not going to anymore because it's a lot. And I really just wanted to talk to y'all because literally I have no friends that watch this show. I actually made a pitch, write an article, but I wanted to put so much in the article about what's going on with women of a darker skin tone and Love Island USA. But I ended up just actually writing a blog, and because I really wanted to include the origins of Love Island USA. It started in the UK. I wanted to give a little bit of history because a lot of people I know, they don't watch the show. I've shared with people before this show. It's funny how Love Island USA is kind of like, has helped me with so many things in my life. I discovered it during COVID-19. So in 2020, yep, I discovered the first season on demand. And so that's how I started watching it. Canada was under a lockdown. We're under lockdown for like 2 years fully. So this was at the beginning. And then I finished watching it on demand, I feel like just in time for the season 2 to start with Justine and Chelley. So that's kind of how I got into the show. I don't really watch a lot of other reality TV. The only other show I watch is Married at First Sight USA. I definitely admire all of the reviewers that watch all of the shows and then do reviews like every day. I just say, God bless y'all. Like, and it's a lot of work. Like, this is work. Even the little videos I do, like, I'm not complaining, but literally, like, I will take the time to try to match the music to, the little stories I tell about Serena Cordell, information, make sure I'm looking things up, spelling people's name correctly. That's so important. And I worked in radio years ago, and I worked in communications. I had to do a lot of communications with one of my jobs, and I was in charge of like all the social media and stuff. So checking the information and the details is just so, so important. And now I'm just trying to I actually have notes, which is not something I normally do. Yep, and I'm still trying to learn how to how to do this. Take a little pause so I can sip a little water and whatnot. But yeah, so literally, I kind of freestyle. Like I have notes, but you know, just so y'all know, so I have something known as post concussion syndrome. I'm actually not like at 100% tonight, but I was like, if I do not do this think piece and talk about the things that I've been looking up and seeing, like it just ain't never gonna happen. So I was like, you know what, it's okay. I had a bit of rest, drank some water, and I have my notes here. So I was like, okay, let me talk to y'all. So first of all, how are you doing? Like, how are you? How are you since the show? Listen, the fans and the stands, the Nicolandrians are no joke. Like, they are, like, they are, I've seen the fandoms each season, right? Like the Justine and Chelley, peeps. I've seen every season, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody like the Nicolandrians. Now, another group or a person that comes close would be, she does the stuff, Serena Page Source, on Instagram. And a lot of times too, people start the fan pages and then they get tired, right? So they're all excited when the show happens and the show ends. I have always kept you up to date, especially on Serena and Cordell. And I will slip in some Leah and Miguel as well. And, like if I'm honest, and I'll get to that, why I didn't always post a lot of Janae and Kenny is because I just kind of always knew. You'll see, like, I really didn't. I did sometimes, but something just, I don't know. It's just, I was like, something ain't right, as my friends would say in Nova Scotia. So I didn't really, but Serena and Cordell, definitely, I'm definitely supporters of them and their young Black love. Love them. But okay, so let me talk about what I can tell y'all, like the things that I've been finding out. So anyway, so first of all, I wrote and this article I try to pitch, like I put a lot of work, a lot of editing, even in the blog. Like I don't think I've ever written anything like this because it was a lot and it was research. And like I said, I always want to make sure that I say people's name right, et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, what have I learned since the most, I don't even know what to say about this season. It was so bizarre because it's even when people are like, what's Love Island? I'm like telling them, watch season 2, 3, and 4, or watch season 3, 4, and 5. I think that gives you a better idea of the show. Season 6 was an anomaly. It's not how things normally go. And that's really the first time, too, with all these major agencies taking people on. That did not happen before. Because I'm like, man, Atlanta could use one of these agencies. And Justine, she's doing stuff. She does brand deals, but it's still not the caliber of what's happening now. So I'm going to tell y'all that when the show ended, I definitely was a bit upset because I was like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen for Chelley and Olandria? Are they going to be able to have these agents with all of this like blatant racism and craziness going on online? So it's so complicated. But I did a couple things. I didn't even know that I had watched What Happens Live. I literally switched my cable provider and don't quite know how to use my television, just like I don't quite know how to use my new tablet. But I did actually, so I found Watch What Happens Live. That's a show on Bravo. And I loved it. And then I saw a lot of because the show itself is very, very short, but then they have a lot of things online. I'm sure you've seen some of the things where Olandria is talking about what Nick has done for her. So I watched that, and I've been peeping to Maya and Brian. And so there's a lot. It's so hard with these shows because you guys, it's a show. As much as I'm a fan, I'm not like a stan. I'm just a fan. I mean, some of these things brighten my day. You know what I mean? And that's why season 7 was so hard to watch, because it didn't always brighten my day. It was just so messed up. There was so much going on. Um, but Amaya and Brian, so basically, where people think that they're not together because I think Brian went and hung out with Marco and bought a Rolex. And Amaya was in New York with her family and stuff. And this is the thing, they're young. What I find hard as somebody who does, who talks about the show, is maybe that sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm too realistic or nice to be on YouTube, because I'm just like, maybe that's just a part of how society is. Maybe that's just, things have changed so much and I'm still old school. Like, I still have a landline, okay? Like, I still take notes with a pen. But people are so judgmental. I have no thoughts on Amaya and Brian. I can't tell. I can't tell if they're really together or not. Brian suffers from anxiety. Sometimes anxiety can come off as you not caring or being stuck up. But if he's dealing with all of that stuff being in the public eye, listen, that can be read the wrong way, okay? So I don't know, right? Because look, I'm the only one that likes Zach. Zach with a K. Nobody likes him. Like, why does everybody dislike him? I'm the only one that liked him and thought he would be a great partner for Olandria. I'm the only person that thought that, okay? So, I've been wrong before. I don't mind being wrong, but I can't get a read on them, okay? I also don't see anything wrong with him buying a Rolex, even though he said he was going to give to charity. I don't know the financial situation of these two young people, okay? Amaya Papaya has done, I played the video that she did. I also played Brian's video, him talking about dealing with anxiety. Amaya has set stuff up to donate to things in New York, and she did a thing with her fans, and I believe like she's really going to do that. She's also maybe in a different tax bracket than Brian is right away with the show. I don't know if he has representation yet. I have noticed his fashion style change on Watch What Happens Live. I see you, Brian. He definitely has his own style going on. But on that show, I don't know if you saw it. It was really good. Olandria. So basically, Olandria is being taken care of by some major makeup artists, designers, tailors, stylists. Boom. It's almost like they watch a show and they couldn't wait for her. And I love that for her, because that's what I didn't know what was going to happen with them. I'm telling you, with how this show was. The unpredictable is unpredictable. I don't even know what that word is. How unpredictable the show was. I didn't know what would happen. So I Watch What Happens Live. I loved it. On YouTube, you can find like clips of everything. But what stood out the most was shade. Was the shade of the audience and some of the questions they asked, but also how strong Nick and Olandria are. And it's the same thing. Like, people don't believe they're a couple either. I always told you, I got my eye on Nick. I'm not part of the Nick Olandrian core, the Nick Olandrian train, or the hive, But I believe that Nick is very intentional with her, and they have opposite personalities. Yo, like, I've been following him with his DJing. He is the life of the party. He has so many YouTube pages. Like, he's been on YouTube for a while, but he's not a big influencer, right? It's not like he had, millions of followers, but he's very comfortable with online. And I've watched him in these interviews, like he's learned TikTok. Like, the fans have helped him with TikTok, Snapchat. So he's learning how to navigate all this stuff, and he actually really likes it. Okay. Olandria, she's the opposite to him. And I do like that they're opposites. Like, but he is definitely the life of the party. Like, and I don't even know where he is now. Like, he was somewhere DJing, wearing hammer pants that went all the way down to his ankles. I've actually never seen hammer pants like that. They were, so he had those on. He was pumping his fist. And then he was somewhere else. And he was there after he did the media appearances, like after he did Watch What Happens Live. And then these were probably obligatory. These are probably interviews and things that they had to do, like the Today Show, Watch What Happens Live, and Jimmy Fallon, which was so awesome. That was really good. So I watched all that stuff. I recorded it and watched it and just sat at home smiling like these are my kids and I'm so proud of them. But so I don't know if you guys watch those things. So what has stood out to me is that I have no idea about the chemistry with Amaya and Brian. What I remember they said is they're going to get to know each other because really they're friends. They met so late in the game. And it's the same thing with Nick and Olandria. Because unlike Nick and Olandria, they really met near the end. So it's not like Brian was observing Amaya and knew this was the one. It's like, to me, they're starting from scratch. So, I hope for the best. Amaya seems very cute and Brian's cute, but they're literally, to me, starting like from how I believe relationships should be: acquaintance, then friend, then a relationship. And to me, they are definitely at the acquaintance level, becoming friends. And that's okay. You know what I mean? I don't think everything has to be so romantic and fast right away. So it might work out for them. Like, I have no idea. Nick and Olandria are very different because Nick reminds me of Cordell in the way that Cordell knew who he wanted. Now, the difference is Nick, was with Sierra for most of the show. And then it was, I keep saying, circumstances or perhaps fate or destiny brought them together. I didn't see all of the things that the audience saw or that Nick's mom saw and Olandria's mom saw. The only thing I did see was when they had that kiss and they said they didn't feel anything and they were friends, that they were both lying. That's when I was like, okay, these two, okay. But it's hard to say, like, they're young. Things are just starting out. Everybody's so intense, like they want them to get married and have kids. It's only been a few weeks. The show just ended. I don't even think it's been a month. So please be patient, everybody. So here are the things I know about their management, okay? So I'm going to start with last season because so Cordell always had a manager from time because he did modeling and stuff. And so it seems that he's been able to get his management to coincide with some of the gigs that Serena has. And that's kind of how they've worked it out, okay? So when the show ended last season, it was like huge announcement. Both Serena and Janae were signed to Gersh. But Serena has now signed with CAA, which is huge, okay? And she signed with them in January of this year. So she's with, they're kind of a big, all these agencies are like the top agencies for them to be with. Leah was signed with UTA. So And I think that Miguel is also with them. It's hard to tell, but I'm trying to look like with him being in the UK, like I don't know if people understand, like you can't just work in the States, you can't just live there. So I'm sure he had a lot of work to do to go back to get a visa to allow him to be able now to even do brands in America, because I know that he couldn't really do that before. But I think that he might also be with the same agency as Leah. I'm going to really try to double check that. So Amaya is with Untitled and Gersh. So she was signed to Gersh, which is good for her. And you saw right away fashion change. Like she did something with the dolls. Was it Barbie or the Bratz doll? But I have somebody else said this too, but I noticed right away. I noticed her. It's like they want her in corporate wear. Her outfits have gone from sexy to the office. We saw what she wore in the Today Show, what she wore in Watch What Happens Live. They're really nice outfits. They're very corporate-y, and that's not Amaya. Amaya has a lot of flavor. So I do hope that even though they're managing her and they're probably like, okay, sexy Latina, we want you to do this. I really hope that she also has, or somebody else that likes her can also work with the styling. Okay. Because she looks great, beautiful young girl, but they definitely have put her in, yeah, in a very corporate type of look. And that's just not how she dresses or how she rolls. But so she's with Gersh, Amaya. Chelley Chelley also was signed with Gersh, which is awesome. I didn't think they would have these opportunities. So when I saw this, when I tell you how happy I was like, okay, okay. So they're still watching this season too. Olandria. So Olandria was signed with DBA and they're part of UTA. So UTA is United Talent Agency. That's who Lee is with. And DBA is Digital Brand Architects. So they're like a smaller branch of that. Because she's really starting out in this business, she's starting out green. I really believe that they have really put a team together that's really going to work with Olandria. And that is amazing. That's a dream, you know. And I've been trying to come to terms with this, like basically the editors and producers of the show, and I always talk about it, obviously are not for the women or the people of color. You know what I mean? For the Black folks. And it's obvious the way they edit. And I always kept saying, there's no way Alondra is that delusional. Like, there's no way. It has to be the editing. We're not seeing, I went on and on about that every time I did a think piece because I know what they do. And it's terrible what they do. But it's like, I can't understand the motives behind it. You know what I mean? But as much as the producers and the editing is against these beautiful women, what has happened since season 6, as you can see, they're getting signed with the top agents, okay? So, and that's what I worried. I remember thinking, like, what's going to happen? So it's all good. All right. So who else do I have that was signed? Yeah, so Landria, and then Nick. So Nick has been a professional model. I already told y'all that in my think pieces. I already looked him up. So he said he was a nurse, but he didn't come on the show with millions of followers. But he has been a professional model for years. That's why it was so amazing when he took Olandria to Greece, because he didn't have to do that. That was his gig, and he took her there. So there are people saying that he's taking. So I do listen to what other people say, okay? So I did watch something today where they're just like, he knew from day one. I think because of what happened with Janae and Kenny, Nick is nothing like Kenny. I don't think so. Okay. But he's so wild and hyper sometimes. And that's more what I worry about, is him getting like swept away. But from looking up his Instagram and stuff before, like when I started doing the reviews, I stayed offline, but then I did look up. That's how I found out he was a model. He's modeled in Jamaica. He's traveled all over, and he had a girlfriend for a long time. He's very, seems relationship committed, okay, when he's with somebody. He is young. He is 24. And Olandria, I mean, she did an interview. I didn't know anything about the Cyrus show, y'all, but she really bonded with Miley Cyrus's mother, and she really talked about her old-fashioned values. And I had talked about what I knew, which was she'd been single for 5 years. She's only had one boyfriend, and I also didn't know if she'd ever dated interracial before, because I remember on the island in the villa, she said, but how do we look? I remember when she was asking Chelley, and that's what made my spidey senses say, okay, she's wondering how they're going to be received. And I'm going to tell y'all, they have their ad campaigns. So he took her to Greece, so they've done the swimsuit stuff. They also did that, I can't pronounce it, I'll have to look it up. They did like the sexy drink. I think that commercial got launched. So Janae and He Who Shall Not Be Named were part of those ads, and they're very sexy. And the Nickelandrians, they posted it on IG today, and it is like, okay. And Olandria did good. Like, she was so conscious, saying that people were saying that she couldn't act. She did. For somebody not from that background, she did really good. No, she doesn't have tons of lines in that commercial, but it's really sexy and it's really good. And that's the thing. Are people ready for an interracial relationship of this stature? Now, I honestly didn't even think about it, that, oh, she's, dark skin. To be honest, like, but I'm just like, has this happened on Love Island before? Now, Marco and Hannah, because Hannah is mixed, and so is Taylor and Bergie. But I do think it's different. I have to admit, I think it is different when somebody has a darker skin tone. So it is very interesting. I feel like what's going to happen. I remember years ago when they had the first Black Bachelorette. They have since broken up, but she had to deal with a lot of that. And her husband was also, I believe he was Latin as well. I can't remember where he was from exactly, but she had to deal with a lot of that stuff. Okay. So this is where I hope Olandria Strong has support, as in, and Nick too, because if he's never had a Black girlfriend before, and they are doing this full throttle, y'all. They're in it. They're in it. And these ads that they're doing, I don't even think I've ever seen an ad like this ever. I don't like, now they have commercials, with interracial couples, and, different sexuality. They'll have commercials, but to be honest, Nick and Olandria, like, it really is like, okay, listen, that Farrah whatever drink, that commercial is hot. And then Nick's, I also am a fan of Nick's, okay, NYX, just saying, always have been. That commercial is also very hot, and with the chocolate, the colors that she uses, and she's kissing all over Nick's face. So it's just like chocolate lips everywhere. This is this is new. I'm not prepared for the discourse. And I just always, I always like, they have good parental support. Olandria, though, is out here on her own. Um, I just feel like they're both going to need help in navigating this. Like, if this is serious, legit, you know, they're going to need support and a lot of support. So, you know, I will see what happens. But I love that the stylists, the Reismans, they look at Olandria's, look at her outfits, look at those fits. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. And I know they did stuff before with Serena and Cordell. I've learned so much about designers and fashion from last season when Serena and Cordell, Janae, Leah, when they were doing stuff for New York Fashion Week. I honestly, because I always look up the designer, like Cordell has a stylist that he still works with. I can't remember his name now, but I asked him his name. Serena Alani, one of her besties, still works with her. Like, you'll see the Reismans or you'll see whoever, but you'll still see Alani's name there. And I've written about her on my wall, so you can scroll down and learn about her. But that is something I like about Serena and Cordell. They've brought the people that were part of their lives from time, and they're still with them on their career. Nandy, Serena's manager, who is like the editor of digital, executive director of digital for Essence and Essence GU. I don't have my notes for that, but it's on my wall. Sorry, Nandy, if I'm saying it wrong. But they're friends from Texas, from time. You know what I'm saying? Cordell's manager, it's been his manager from time. That's something good that they have. So I don't know, like, this is all new to Olandria, and Nick has really supported her, and he doesn't have to do that. So I love that for them. But this business is not easy. It comes with so much, you know? Who else did I want to talk about? Yes. So I also want to talk about Chelley and Ace. Okay, so I'm going to come to them a little bit after because I just went. So the Casa and the Unlimited guys are busy traveling. Elite Brown he's been on a Royal Caribbean cruise. He's been to Iceland. I know he's trying to get to an African country. I think he was at the reunion. It was hard to tell. Zach, with a K, I think. There's like a airline strike in Toronto with Air Canada, and he seemed to be caught up in that strike. So I can't tell if he made it to the reunion or not. I think there was a rumor that Huda wasn't going to be there, but Huda was there. And what else? So I can tell you the rumors I heard. I heard that Ace and Jeremiah fought it out. You know, we're not going to see that. That's the other thing. Remind me. But who's going to remind me? I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to y'all, but I'm talking to myself. So let me just say this. Don't have high expectations for the reunion, y'all. I'm a realist always. I didn't have high expectations last season, and I don't this season. I do follow them afterwards. And so what I'm gathering is Jeremiah and Ace, they're cool now. The reason I think they're cool now is because today Jeremiah played a video and he used Ace's song. So to me, they squashed their beef. They talked it out. And I think it's always hard for me to understand how the audience takes things so seriously, because I'm like, it's a show. But yeah, I'm glad because, you know, all of that stuff that went on the show was just insane. So I'm looking forward to the reunion show, but I don't want to see Huda extended. I don't want to see Huda in 3D on top of Ace. I already know what happened. It was off. It was off. Ace was like, what the? And Taylor was giggling. It was a lot, and I don't really think I need to see it or be reminded of it, but that's probably going to happen. As far as the reunion, I don't know what I want to happen at the reunion. I'm just going to watch it and hope for the best. So the Casa and Unlimited guys, yeah, they're traveling, they're having fun. It seemed like Jeremiah was partying in Toronto last night. And then I don't know where he is today. They're just all hanging, partying, having fun. Elite Brown, I think, what was his name? I can't remember his name anymore. Anyways, Mr. Elite Brown, Mr. Truck Driver, Mr. Georgia, never traveled before, is now traveling, has great fashion style. And people are just sponsoring him and they're just going to send him on trips all over the world. Like, is this fair? Can somebody please come and get me? I already am a writer and a travel blogger. You know, I'm not an like, hello, I will take free trips. I love traveling. Just saying. So yeah, the opportunities that they're getting like is pretty dope. Taylor and Clark, honestly, first of all, Clark and Olandria and Taylor, they're all cool. They were all hanging out in the Hamptons. They're all dancing together. I have a video of them together. You know, what happens on the show, a lot of it is editing. A lot of it is editing, man. Like, these people usually make up and are fine afterwards, and the audience still wants them to have this rift, and it's like they're fine. But here's what I'll tell you. I already told y'all that Taylor was a real cowboy. I also think Taylor has a lot of money, okay? That's what I'm gathering. He's also friends with a content creator, with a streamer, and his girlfriend. So that's who they spend a lot of time with. Clark seems very content. I don't know where she really lives to have up and left her life and just be hanging with Taylor, whether that's on a horse, at a rodeo, with their friends at the content house, walking down the street, hitting a pan on her head. You know, she just really is pretty chill. And what I gather from the clips I've seen is that Taylor has a lot of money and Clark is shopping and she's enjoying it. Because I don't think that's from the show. I think that he is all about that. So that's my observation, that Clark seems very content with this life now. I don't know what her own ambitions are. I don't know what they were before the show. I don't know anything about Clark. And, you know, I haven't looked it up, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Whereas Taylor, he was already modeling. He's already set up, right, with a lot of his career. They do look nice together when they're all dressed up and stuff. And they seem to have the same type of maturity level. So, you know, what can I say? Clark seems happy, y'all. She seems happy to just go shopping a lot and hang out with Taylor. And some people are just like that, you know? Okay, so I want to talk about Ace. An Ace mob. Ace. So Ace legit did not need this show for clout. He has built his own empire, okay? Because of Serena Cordell, I ended up in the world of Halle Bailey. Oh, I love Halle Bailey, I'll just so you know, and DDG. And because of that, I actually did a think piece on them, which led me to the world of streaming, okay? And because I'm writing this play where my youth character is an activist, I now am probably going to have her boyfriend be a streamer, because I literally have delved into that world to understand it. So I can talk to my friends about their kids and be like, are your kids, you know, looking at Cooking with Kaya? Do they follow DDG? Do they know about the AMP house? Do they follow Kai Cenat? Do they know who Funny Mike is? Okay, all of that stuff I know now. Ace is part of that world. Ace, since 2024, has been working on his dream, which is a content studio. I think he opened it up this year. So a lot of these guys have a content house, and that's where they're going to do, you know, all their streaming and stuff. DDG had it set up in his mansion. And then some of them have these content houses where there's groups of them that work in the house together, right? So Ace is set up, and his content house, studio, whatever, is super dope. It's got everything. And I watched a little video and he's like, this is where we're going to do the cooking portion. So Ace has been setting himself up. He's a hard worker. He's an entrepreneur. Okay. And what happened to me with Ace on the show and the editing just made everybody dislike him. He came across intense. I think he is intense about, he's intense because he's intentional about whatever he's doing. And that just came across wrong on our screens because this guy, that's was like, what management or what agencies is he going to be with? He's his own agency, and he is also taking care of Chelley. Chelley is good because Ace, I think, is very well off through TikTok, streaming, and all the things that he does. He has invested in himself and his future. Chelley is his first girlfriend. Remember that? He never had a girlfriend before, and he is in it 1,000%. I'm going to tell y'all, though, whenever I see them together, because she is a bit older, I posted a video of Serena, her birthday last year, and Chelley, yes, je parle français, Chelley, très sexy, eh? Chelley dancing with Ace and Chelley with Ace. And Ace always has, to me, I don't want to say it's embarrassed, but he definitely has, he's always blushing. Like he's blushing because I feel he's like, I can't believe this is my girl, but it is. And I got her and I'm going to take care of her. And I feel that's how I feel every time I see them together. It's like these two, whatever they found, man, they're like lifers. They are locked in. And Ace is like going to be independently wealthy. Okay. So maybe it's hard to say, like, maybe he went on the show, yes, to really find love because in his line of work and what he does, it's hard for him to meet people that will like him just for him because they're going to know him from TikTok and all the things he does. And I think he's found that with Chelley, but who knows, right? It's early days, but I love them together. You know, when the show was on, I was like, Ace! But I said, but when he gets locked in, he's going to be locked in. And Ace is locked in. And his content studio is dope. You can Google and see it, okay? Because I'm like, that's how I do my research. I just be looking stuff up. And what else did I want to talk about before this reunion? I think that's it. Like, as far as things that I found out, the Olandrians are hardcore. That's all I know. God bless them. They're hardcore. And they just started a YouTube channel. I feel like it's led by these two young ladies, and they recreated all of the letters from the show and then got all the fans of Nick and Olandria to write them letters, and then they put it all together and sent it to them. So here's what I will say about the show is that if Olandria and Nick did not have these fans, like outside of whatever therapy or whatever help they had from the show, especially Olandria, I don't know how they could have dealt with everything, because really, so this is one way where I see that these stands and this fandom is a good thing. They really use that, all of the videos they were sent, all of the positive editing as a means of escape to me from all the hatred that they were seeing online. And I saw that, you know, and I can tell like when Olandria is nervous, and I see that Nick has her. So I don't know what's to come, y'all. People like all the drama. I am not looking forward to a reunion with drama. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not. Hood is Hooda, you know. I don't know if she's with Louis. That's the other thing. He was Miguel's best friend. I don't know, you know. But I learned that she's like really serious into bodybuilding and stuff. And she's also a really good singer. Chelley also sings. Who else sings? Chelley sings. Huda sings. I don't know who else. Oh, Charlie's a singer. Zach, the other Zach, Zach with a C, I don't know. Anyway, white Zach, he got hair implants for the show. I'm trying to think of the little gossipy things. He got hair implants for the show. He's really good at dancing. He loves dancing and he can also sing. JD is just comical. JD, Mr. Puerto Rico, Mr. wherever he's from, he's funny. He does is it called mukbangs? Well, he just eats for people. Who else is there? TJ, I've seen TJ partying with Nick at one of the parties. Pepe, oh my gosh, Pepe L'Espanol and Iris. I can't remember who she signed with. She signed with somebody. And Pepe L'Espanol, I think he is too. I just look up my favorite peoples, right? So Iris is doing good. They're just, they seem very, very tuned into each other. Who else was on the show? Chris, I don't know what's up, where Chris is or what he's doing. And I think that's it for me, who I'm interested in. But yeah, anyway, so that's it. Those are my thoughts. I had a lot to say. I'm just talking to y'all like you're right here because I can't talk to my friends. I'm just talking to y'all. I also writing the article about Love Island USA also helped me get rid of a lot of things that were on my mind in the show. So what I don't know the future, y'all, but the fact is that, which I had in my article, mainstream media is like this, right? So this systemic racism that's built in to the show with the producers, the editing, it's not going to be an overnight change. So you see what they've done, which now the women choose the guys first, so it doesn't just leave the black girls standing there on that little harp by themselves. And they found men that are interested in black women, but I feel like it has to be even more than that. So they just have to do their due diligence for the casting next time. Love Island Games is coming up, so I'm excited about that. I don't know if I'm going to do think pieces or reviews. I'll just probably post some things, but I definitely am excited about watching it. And yeah, the reunion's coming up. I think when is it? On the 25th or is it on the 18th? No, it's on the 25th, right? So a lot of time has passed from the show. I, as always, want to just say thank y'all. Thank you for following me. Thank you for subscribing. Outside of Love Island, I do have a life. And I will post things also from my life. And I hope in time to be able to interview people, whether it's from Love Island or from the arts and cultural scene that I'm used to. That's what I'm leading up to. And I'm just so appreciative. I'm so appreciative that I have 620 subscribers. I had 21. Okay. So thank you so much. I literally was just chatting with y'all like we were live, but that's coming. I'm going to understand how to master using the live so that I can also type and talk to y'all. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for following me. Thank you for subscribing. I will, as always, give you updates on the people that, you can tell who I like, but I'll also still let you know maybe about some of the other people if I think it's interesting enough. And that's it. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and know that if your comments are negative, they will probably disappear because I really try to keep it positive. That's just how I am. And I've always been this way, so I think I will stay this way. I'm the same person online as I am offline, as I am on stage, as I am off stage. This is just really me. But thank you so much. As I said, my name is Amani. This is Amani's Vibe. Thank you so much for supporting me, and I will see you the next time. Like I always say, that's what's up.